Hey, what's up, everyone? We're here with the remake of Tomb Raider 2. This is a fan-made project being done by Nico Bass. There will be a link in my description that will lead you to their website where you can download the demo for yourself or check out, just kind of progress on how things are going, screenshots, follow them on their social medias, whatever they've got posted there. This game was originally released in 1997, so it's, long due for a remake. Let's jump into it. I did play a little bit, but then I had an issue with the audio recording, so I had to start over, and this is the start over. My first impressions of the game are quite incredible, though, considering it's a staff of 10, and don't let that deter you, because really these guys are doing work that is far better than a lot of projects that have many, many more people on it. See how much of this I actually remember from my first let go of it. It's been a little bit since that first attempt. Gears Tactics came out, and I wanted to get that game out as quickly as possible. So that's achieved now. I finally get back to filming other stuff. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's back. So, definitely one thing I'd say is the controls in this game, considering that, people might say that this kind of Tomb Raider is outdated. The controls are actually really quite nice. Better than the proper PC port, that was done by a full-fledged company for the Tomb Raider anniversary. The controls feel like and in that port feel like you only have 16 directional analog, and then to add on top of it, there's so much clipping. Really, this game is just so well done, considering you're looking at a fan, fans doing this. I thought I was gonna miss that. Yeah, I think I go over to here. A little off course, but I think she'll still grab. She didn't grab that though, so I get to redo that. That was, you know, I wouldn't call that a fault of the developers. That was, you know, a pretty common issue just with the old Tomb Raiders in general. It's just sometimes, you know, she doesn't do what she's supposed to. Pretty sure maybe I should just go down slightly a little bit here. Pretty sure I grabbed right at this break here. They're color coded, and yet I still press the wrong one. I'm using an Xbox 360 controller, which looks like they've kind of coded the screen appearance for Xbox. There's a run button. There it is. I couldn't find on their website just how long they've been working on this, but I imagine quite a while because it's really, really well built. I never played the original Tomb Raider 2. I played the very first Tomb Raider. I think. Yeah, I played the very first Tomb Raider, and I played Legends and Underworld, I think it was called. Out of those three, the Anniversary was my favorite one, which was the anniversary of the first game. It's kind of a little remake. I found the PC port to be horrible, but the original 360 version, or pretty positive it was on PlayStation as well. That version's quite great. There's really no issues with it. For some reason, the PC port just has some character clipping, like when you're kind of going through crawl spaces, it's very glitchy. And then, like I said, kind of crap controller support for the PC port, which is interesting because the game was originally not on PC and was built for controller. But you know, I'm not a developer. I don't know what goes into making ports, and what kind of things could have made that be the case. Forgot about that. I seen him in the last second kind of peer into the bush, but he still got me off guard a little bit. Ugh. God, I'm doing terrible. How do I switch my shotgun? There it is. There's another one coming up, I'm pretty sure, so gonna get that shotty ready since that one beat the crap out of me. Actually, I might be able to just kind of skip him, like going up here. To me, these, you know, original Tomb Raider games hold something very special to me. I find the new ones are good, but they're good in a different way that these ones were good. Almost like they're just not even in the same universe. I find the new ones are combat heavy, puzzle light, and overall, you know, just modernized to be hectic and combative, which I I like in some games and I dislike in others. One of my favorite things about the old Tomb Raiders was just coming into a tomb and being in this one tomb for a solid hour of just, you know, doing puzzle after puzzle. You get the odd tiger come after you, and then when you're finished the tomb, you maybe have to shoot 5-10 guys, which the new ones, it's, you know, it's more like shoot 150 people, do one puzzle that takes you 2-3 minutes, and then get back to shooting 150 more people. The third Tomb Raider reboot was kind of heading in the right direction for me because it had definitely a lot more puzzles, but still I didn't really. It's part of the tomb experience. It's the same thing for me with Legend of Zelda, as it's part of that a part of that temple experience, which the Breath of the Wild didn't have. You know, like in Ocarina of Time, for example, you know, you go into the Forest Temple or something like that, and you're in there for a bit doing puzzles. Your first experience, the Water Temple, you know. Those are locations that you remember, and although Breath of the Wild is a good game, by all means, you know, how many locations in Breath of the Wild can you say, oh yeah, like I really remembered this place and I really enjoyed the puzzles and stuff, or I freaking hated it, like, you know, like the Shadow Temple or something like that. And it's, I don't know, it's a problem with open world games, is they don't have memorable locations, because I mean, like in Skyrim you've got some towns which are pretty cool and stuff, and some cities, but overall when you're just out in the wilderness, there's not a ton that you go, oh yeah, like this is a cool place. There was a couple of locations, like in the first 15-20 minutes of Skyrim, when you go up, it's been a while, so I don't remember the names, but when you go up to that mountain, and I think you had to use like a golden finger there at some point, you know, that's a memorable location. It was pretty cool, but for the most part you're just exploring crap that you don't care to see, and you're just, you know, on your way to your next objective. And I guess that's kind of how the new Tomb Raiders make me feel. And you know, it's a problem with really any open world game. The Witcher, in my opinion, is a 10 out of 10 game. It's absolutely fantastic. You know, might be my favorite game of, probably, yeah, my favorite game of this console generation would be The Witcher. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And it does have some memorable locations for sure, but there's also some areas that, you know, you don't care about too much. It's just forest or swamp. But they did that's a hard comparison. They really put in just so much work into that game, into its environments and its locations, that you didn't always feel like, oh, I'm just running through an empty field. I guess that is really my big complaint with Breath of the Wild, is most of it is just spent running through a field. You know, it's just the same looking field most of the game, with kind of really, really quick puzzles that aren't difficult by any means. Ah, get off me. Look, these things are horrible shake-offs, but I think it's the rest of that. Can I kick them? I can. I can stomp them. And, you know, that's my issue with the new Tomb Raiders, is that I don't feel like I have these memorable locations. Like, for example, in Tomb Raider Anniversary, I remember Peru really well. I remember I'm gonna die. I'm still gonna die. They won't get off me. Opening door. There's, like, I still remember Peru. I remember certain puzzles. I remember, like, coming into rooms that had like 4 stories to it, and you had to get these gems and bring them back down below, enter them into these 4 pillars, and you know, I don't remember the exact name of the locations, but it's also been a really long time, so the fact that I even remember that much says something. And then, you know, like Tomb Raider, the first reboot, I don't remember really any locations to an extreme extent. I think I remember the final boss area. It was oh shit, it was kind of like on top of a mountain, maybe some castly rocks and really high wind. I kind of remember the final boss of the area. I do kind of remember the this kind of like it was like raining, and there's kind of like a lot going on. Is when Laura like killed her first person, but that was more not so much of a memorable location as it was a memorable moment. And I think locations are an important part of really leaving you with fond memories of a game. So it's just, you know, some games, like if they're puzzle based, I don't know about open world for some games. Even when they're doing this kind of the hub thing, it's I don't know. You can't, as a developer, when you're doing open world stuff, you can't anticipate the player as well, which means you can't really craft your puzzles as well. Oh, god damn it. And then he just suicide bombs himself. Or not bombs himself, but jumps off. Suicide dive. Yeah, like you can't anticipate the player as well, which means if you can't anticipate the player as well, like where the player's going to be, what the player's going to be doing, exactly what they're going to be doing, that is going to reduce how well you can craft your puzzles. And like I'm using these all as examples, but I'm not saying they're bad games. They're great games, but in their own different way. They're really separated from their predecessors, and that's not entirely a bad thing. I mean, gaming industry is always evolving, and people's wants out of video games are always changing, like constantly. But you know, sometimes changes they don't click with everyone, and I guess that's kind of like I'm an example of these changes don't quite click with me on something that I built the nostalgic factor of and have an expectation of the game. But that just means I'm getting outdated as a gamer. Potentially, anyways. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? Leave a comment. Let me know. You know, do you have fond memories of the old Tomb Raiders? Or you know, if you only played the reboots, do you like the reboots way better than the old Tomb Raiders? I say this too, but they're all games that I've really still put a ton of time into. I played a lot of Breath of the Wild, and I still enjoyed it. It just didn't quite capture, I guess, it didn't quite capture my expectations on puzzles, and I think that's just something that naturally happens when a game goes from linear to open world, is that developers have a harder time anticipating where the players are going to be, what the players are going to be doing exactly, so on and so forth. that's, but all those things just make me more excited for this fan-made remake, which is still just blown my mind about just how well it's done. And I think they're probably pretty safe too. Not like those people remaking that they started remaking. This is a good example and a poor example. Started remaking Resident Evil 2. And the reason it's a good example is because, well, Resident Evil 2, after it got some traction, don't think I meant to do that. And what am I going to do now? After it got some traction on the internet, the developers, Capcom, had decided that let's remake Resident Evil 2. Now, luckily, Capcom was a great company and went ahead and brought those people that were working on that remake in and kind of collaborated with them on ideas and such. And so that was, really good on them. But that doesn't. And now, it's the word on the street is that Capcom is going to remake Resident Evil 4. Well, there's already fans that have been working on Resident Evil 4 for quite a while, which I read the other day that they're gonna continue anyways. Kind of forget what I want to do here. Can I make that, or do you think I'm gonna die? I think I'm gonna die if I try that. Yeah, I want to break that. So let's see if I can go around. This game, one thing I do like about it is it uses a more realistic paint to, like this remake anyways, uses a more realistic paint to telegraph where they kind of want you to go. Which a lot of games use white, and I guess it signifies scratch marks from people doing this exact same thing. But it's like, who the hell besides Lara Croft or Nathan Drake is doing this crap? Why is there so many scratch marks on these ledges? Like, everyone's running out here doing parkour every day. Do I want to go all the way around? I really don't. I think I'm going to die if I try to backward jump onto that. So it's got to be... somewhere I can get up higher, maybe. I think that's the goal. I need to get up higher than what I currently am. So I gotta find... I think I found a spot. Now I just gotta... not die. That was a tricky jump. If I go here and I back jump off this, yeah, we're safe. Ooh. Okay, so that broke that there. Now we gave this a little pushy push off the ledge. And these are just kind of, my experiences. They're all in my opinion, and everyone's opinion is valued by me. And it's all about the experience of the individual player or the individual viewer that's important. And those are just kind of the things that I want out of Tomb Raider games or Legend of Zelda games. Is puzzles. That's what I enjoyed. I do enjoy the combat. I do enjoy the lore and stuff like that, but to me it's always been, for these type of games, this genre, it's always been about the puzzles. Especially... will I live? I will not. Especially in, Tomb Raider games. I think I'd give the original reboot, like a 9 out of 10. I'd probably give Rise of the Tomb Raider 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. I preferred that one over first reboot, which is always a good thing. I mean, you want your successor to your game to be better than your previous game, which even with movies is unfortunately not the case a lot of the time. So I dropped down there. I think I'm gonna go over this way, I guess. See if I can cross this gap. Good. I don't think I can round this corner though. And now, can I even get back up? I might have to jump backward. There we go. I think she will be okay from this drop. And we'll want to go. Can she round corners? The thing that's great about these old games too is that it wasn't always just physical puzzles. It was, it wasn't always. There was traversal puzzles too. Like the whole world is a giant. When you've got a linear, is a giant puzzle. Every step you take is a puzzle. Can I make that jump? Will I die? Do I need to find a different way around? Where do I go? You're constantly looking around. The whole world is a puzzle, and that's something that I feel is... Nope. That's something that I feel is lost as a whole, so I'm super excited. I hope these guys keep continuing with this demo, because it's really just capturing everything that I love in a Tomb Raider game. And I hope, I can kind of understand the reboot series, why they didn't necessarily have her doing all these crazy puzzles and all this crazy traversal and stuff like that, and focused on her combat stuff and her hardening. There's definitely an extreme level of character development and backstory into Lara's life, whether or not it's backstory from this Lara or it's a completely different universe now that it's a reboot. But it's great in that sense, and you can argue that, well, she doesn't do all this puzzle solving and going into tombs because she's not a Tomb Raider yet. And maybe after this trilogy we'll finally start getting big tombs that she's going off to when she becomes, kind of a full-fledged professional, or if they're gonna try to just keep it into this constant conflict. It's nice to sometimes have a game where you don't always necessarily need conflict. So, or an individual conflict in every moment, and that's something that the older Tomb Raiders do so well, is that it's nice to just go into a tomb and kind of be lost in that moment for an hour and be in this one environment, be immersed into it. And also the lores behind it, I've always been a big fan of Egyptian, Greek, Norse, all those mythologies, and those were definitely places that were more it seemed like they were more played upon in the older ones. The kind of lores that they're doing now, I did kind of like the Kimiko thing. That was interesting. I don't remember too much about what Rise of the Tomb Raiders one was about. Another example of a moment I remember an anniversary was like Midas. You had to grab this. You had to get. I think there was just stone blocks, and then put them onto Midas's statue's hands, and it would turn into gold blocks that you could open a door with. Those are just memorable scenes, memorable puzzles, memorable atmosphere, and I find that that's a lot of the time lost on open world games. So and for the last few years, a lot of games have been going on this open world binge, because that's where it seemed like the money was at for single player games. So it's always nice to have something, try to capture the classics. Anyways, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed watching this demo. Check out the link in the description to download it for yourself on PC. It's got full controller support. Controls feel nice. Let me know what you thought of this demo in the comments below. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.